Hello, my name is Drew Bailey. I'm coming up with a projective idea to make a forum so that we can communicate with people via snail mail. If you don't know what snail mail is, that's just U.S. Postal Service or Global Postal Service. People that are on the front line, people that work for, with, or around Red Cross or other organizations, so that people that are on the front line can join a open forum, join a chat forum, join a readers list, join a mail list, so that they can contribute to the greater good of this idea that I came up with. The idea starts out with the internet and a mail list, sponsors, community, churches, non-for-profits, people on the inside, people on the outside, and government funding. Whether you're on the inside or the outside, it's also going to tap into people in think tanks. Pretty much you have NASA, you have people in prison, you have people with downtime, you have people that are bored, you have people that are lonely, you have people that just come across this and think it's a good idea and the concept should be broadened. Well, you're going to contribute to the greater whole and pretty much get allowed access, whether it's via snail mail, which is, like I said, just a regular letter in an envelope via the U.S. Postal Service, FedEx, or UPS, or whatever it is, in your state, in your country, in your city. You're going to write into a certain address, and as the web page builds, we're going to get people who are going to volunteer, and whether it be churches or volunteers or people in the community, they're going to volunteer an address, a P.O. box or something to write to make it so that we can start to build this. My website is, email is drewbailey9996@gmail.com. My Facebook is Drew Bailey, all lowercase, at facebook.com. The picture I'm going to have on my Facebook is going to look like this. It's a circle with a triangle, with a square inside a square, and it kind of contributes overall to something that's a little bit different that I won't go into now. This is called an EXE. So in the concept of it all, you have a judge, you have a lawyer, you have a soldier, you have people that are X's, let's say ex-cop, ex-con, ex-military, con-ex. You have all these people that are, if I can get familiar, that are doing things within society that are either on the inside or on the outside, and they're going to contribute whether they want to be known or they want to be unknown. I want to make it so that the forums touch on multiple levels. So you have a chat room, you have research, you have design, you have mailing orders, you have funding, you have donations, you have the cost of the mailing list, stamps, etc., web page design, you have gridders, you have networks. Potentially it's all going to be volunteer until I can get people that are willing to become more sponsors, people that are experts in web page design, or people that are networkers, hackers, whatever you want to be called. I need people that see it as a forum on a chessboard, where you have the 33 at the top, which is king. It goes down to a queen, which is the 32. Queen is always touching back and coming over the board from 33 all the way down to 2. The queen goes from, it's 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. So the queen goes to a 16. 16 is pretty much like 4 corners to a chessboard, 4 pieces to a table. Anything with 4s, you have your castles, which are 16s. That's going to be your network, that's going to be the grind, that's going to be the grid, that's going to be the platform, that's going to be where we measure out and where we build up to, and then it expands out. We have our bishops, which are 8s. They're going to be the people that are going to help organize, going to help found it, going to help go to the church, go to the 16, go to the next platform, go to the next level. The queen's going to be the run between. The queen's going to ensure that everything's going smoothly, that everything's mandated by the king, whether the king be somebody that's going to pick this up and say this is a great idea, I'm running with it, and they're going to go from there, from the bishop to the knight or the horse. The horse is going to go down to the 2. All the 2s are pretty much going to be us. 2s are people at the beginning, 2s are people who are curious, 2s are people who are interested, 2s are people who are dictating as to their interest. Shooting me an email, drewbailey9996@gmail.com, or follow me on Facebook, drewbailey@facebook.com. I have some pretty much basic information from a scale of 1 to 100. I'm probably about 30 on web page design, web page development. I'm debating on going and getting a GoDaddy and starting this as a network platform. I'm working on getting funding for that so that I can start getting the mail list together, start getting videos out there, start making it so that the platform can span more. We're pretty much getting into kind of a martial law state, and I've had some issues with some of the systems, so I kind of have a different view as to people on the inside. I have a different view as to soldiers on the front line. I have served briefly before, and I know that downtime can be very drawing, very tasking. If you don't have a letter or somebody that you care about or somebody that's writing you, you can join a forum like this, and it will make it so that you can read things, you can study things, you can start to learn things from other people that are experts in the fields. The benefit of that is that you'll have chats, you'll have researches, you'll have designs, and then you'll have other people that are helping to build this as a greater whole that are going to contribute in the A to Z, whether they be the think tank on the inside, the think tank on the front line, or the think tank on NASA. The A to Z is pretty much going to come together and say, I'm interested in your idea, I'm interested in your concept, here's what I can contribute to building. I don't want any funding, I don't need funding, I pretty much am starting out myself with no funding. I'm making it so that the platform expands off of YouTube, and then off YouTube it goes from Facebook. From Facebook it goes to my Gmail. My Gmail, when I have time, I research and I communicate back and forth with you, and then I post it back to Facebook. You follow the feed as a 2. The 2 writes to the people on the inside or the people on the front line. Those 2 platforms integrate back to the 4s. Those 4s go to the 8s. Those 8s go to the 16s, and then it pretty much stops at the 16s and levels out on a network, on a platform. It gets sorted out. Everything goes the direction it needs to. We address the issues with the Queen doing 69, going both ways, both directions, and ensuring that everything is running smooth. If there's something off, something falls apart, or something just completely goes haywire, I want to be at 2. I want to be pretty much at the ground floor, pretty much at the base of this, coming up with a concept, coming with an idea, and then people that know and have ran or have dictated businesses, done forums, done research, done the chat rooms, done the designs, done everything that needs to be done in order to make a network like this, can pretty much platform to me and say, well, it's being designed, it's coming from a GoDaddy. If you already have the funding, you can start this ahead of me. You can open up a GoDaddy account. You can pretty much say you're going to make a mailing list, color-coded. It's going to be a website. There's going to be chat forums. There's going to be an A to Z. A to Z being if you have a lawyer, let's say doing 10 to 20 years, and he's considered an expert in the field. He did 10 to 20 years service as a lawyer. He knows the law. He's bored out of his mind in prison, and he wants to help contribute to the letters. Well, we have an L, let's say L90. Lawyer number 90 is going to come in, and he's going to say, well, I have expertise in this. We'll write him letters. He'll write us back. The news feed and the forums will contribute to what he's saying, and then it will pretty much bounce back when people scanning it in on their printer, on their computers, or even just taking photos and scanning up to the point that is posted on the website. From there, it goes to a chat room, and then the chat room goes back to the lawyer, and the lawyer is able to communicate via from either on the inside or via from on the front line, and make it so that he has an L90, which is a lawyer 90, or as, let's say, a stockbroker 90 from the inside that knows all the ins and outs of trading, knows the wolves of Wall Street, is able to communicate with the outside and pretty much get a mail letter going. So if you're not interested in hearing from the lawyer, or you have some lawyer information that you want to know about, what you do is you hit up the chat forum, research design, and then the mailing order. How this is going to benefit things is, let's say that you have somebody that's a doctor, a nurse, somebody that has some kind of disease, some kind of issue, some kind of problem that you personally have. What I'm going to do in some of my other exes as I start to build this up, when I get the things together to build my network with GoDaddy, is I'm going to make it so that the forums overlap each other, so it's a 6-sided box, so that everything that we're doing is going to be pretty much 6-sided box. So if you take and you make a 6-sided box on a table, or you draw it on a piece of paper, and you take 2 sides to a box, that's pretty much where we are. We're meeting, we're having an interaction, but we're also plotting, and we're planning. And think about it from a war standpoint. If you take 2 points out of that 6-sided box, you have a wind going through that box. 6-sided, there's 6 points to it, there's a tunnel going through. In order to close that, we have to have all 6 sides. So at war, you have two. You have two people meet, negotiate terms, think tanks, whatever you want to call it. And then if you have four, then that's pretty much all at war. That's pretty much four sides of your box collapsing, falling apart. You only have two sides left. In order to have peace, you have to have all six sides pretty much overlapping. So where we're at right now is I'm taking two pieces. I'm communicating with you. You're communicating with me. Even though you can't communicate back, you can shoot me an email, drewbailey9996@gmail.com, or you can follow me on Facebook. Everything as this forum builds, everything as the network builds, I want to grid into Facebook. I want to use previous experience from my jobs, from what I've learned, from expertise, from people that I'm networking to, from the platform that I'm building globally, because it's via the internet. I'm going to grid through you, and you're going to grid back through me. So we're going to have two people meet four. As we go to war, as we start to build it, we build it from a 2 to a 32. We're going to have a lot of people at the ground zero that are going to be interested to build their own forums and build their own platforms as this starts to come together, and make it so that people in the community, people in churches, people in non-profits, people in volunteers, people on the inside or the outside can pretty much look at Facebook or look at whatever open forum or chat we come up with and network through to make it so that they can follow from ground zero, being a number 2, all the way up to 33, so that they can come in and they can say, well, here's how he designed it. Here's the date, 2018. He designed it so that when you get to a 32, it goes to 69, it goes full circle, and then it goes to a 6-sided box, which is a circularly square box that has a destination point somewhere along the lines in the middle, which is the king, and is separated by the 48. 48 is the Walteri. I know it's kind of a weird concept, but the Walteri regulate the board. The 48 is pretty much time limits. We have 48, we have 60, we have 96. If you think in terms of 33, I know 33 is big with the Freemasons. So if you go 33s and you go to the 1%, let's say everyone always wants to be 1%, you have 99, 96, and 99. When you break that down to 60, that's a clock. 48, that's the Walteri, and then it goes 33. The benefit of knowing that idea, knowing that concept, is people that are in the community already that know how to do challenges, know how to do research, know how to do designs, know how to do mail orders, know how to do funding, know how to do nonprofits who are going to communicate with me. That idea is your mistakes are going to pretty much lead to my building, migrating into the network. Anyone that has an error, an issue, pretty much anything past the 33 goes to the 48, and then we have to figure out, well, what's the issue? Walteri regulate the board. And pretty much, if you ever watched the Twilight movie, where Walteri regulate on the big chessboard, that's kind of a cheesy idea, but it's a concept that relates to what I'm getting at. If you have an issue, it's pretty much dead. If you have an issue and you look back on your genealogy, you look back on your history, and you say, well, the issue started here. If there's some chronological disease that's following in your family, in your traits, in your genealogy, you look back and say, well, there's a good chance I'll get cancer or something like that. That's pretty much where it goes from 33 to 48 to 60 to 96. Once you get up to 96 or 99, that's pretty much the equivalent of a Freemason to a Shriner. Shriner is one step higher than a Freemason. Shriners are considered elders in the community. Shriners know the numbers, know the combinations, know all the rights, ranks, and statures of the community. I don't know if they care or like the fact that I'm using them. I'm not necessarily a member, but I believe I've known people that have been. I haven't actually volunteered or paid any membership to them, but I've known a few throughout the days, and they seem to be good people, so I'm using their concept where they start with 33, and then they go up to 99. When we talk about 1%ers, we talk about people that are Forbes Richest 500, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, somebody that is just a billionaire or beyond. The 1%ers, no one ever really wants to be a 1%er, but everyone wants to be a 1%er. 1%ers are pretty much the equivalent of a king if you're alive. If it's somebody that's dead and you get some massive inheritance, that's pretty much the equivalent of a 99. Everyone wants to be the one. Everyone wants to have the fat bank account be loaded, but no one wants to die in order to get it, or no one wants to actually have to put in the trenches, the time, the work, and all the effort in order to build up to being the king. So along these lines, I'm going to have some people that are going to be kings, I'm sure, or people that are going to be castles or queens, that are going to network into me ideas and suggestions and get me rolling on the ball as far as building this into something that's going to platform out to something grander, something that's going to be color coded. So we have, let's just say I have no idea about this. I'm watching the YouTube with you. I'm watching Facebook with you. I'm watching wherever you repost this, and I'm watching wherever you give this. I'm saying, well, how does it work? What he's missing? First off, he's missing funding. He's missing sponsorship. He's missing donations. But how does he get the letter from the person on the inside to the person on the outside? I have to build P.O. boxes. That's one thing that I'm going to have to come up with, and I'm going to have people volunteer to give out some kind of mailing order or mailing list via drewbailey9996@gmail.com or drewbailey@facebook.com, so that people who already have mailing lists, whether you be the Red Cross or whether you be some other organization, can pretty much make it so that we can platform and communicate via the mailing list that already exists and via this mailing list that's starting to build off the mailing lists that do exist. As the forum goes and as the forum grows, the mailing lists are going to expand as well, and people are going to start to follow everything that we're doing, start to follow the network, and the network is going to have to be platformed out. So if you go 33 is 1, 32 is 2, 16 is 4. We need people at 16s that know the gridding, not only from the standpoint of a web page designer, a web page developer, a Zuckerberg, a Facebook, a Musk, a Tusk, a Gates, whatever you want to call it. We need them to start gridding back down and back up so that we can have it where the forum is multilateral, which means everyone on each corner is getting the information they need, so that the people in the mailroom can communicate via the people in the web page and then reach back to the people that are on the inside or on the outside and say, well, Con X, lawyer 90, who's doing 10 to 20 years, just wrote an open forum. We confirm that he's a lawyer 90. We see that he's writing something about some statute, some state, some law, and he wants to have it posted in a chat forum or in an open forum, which can be either public or private, so that people who are novice or experts can communicate back to him or her and say, well, on a 1 to 100, lawyer 90 is going to network back and say, I need this, this, and this in order to proceed forward. Or the case that you sent to me, even though I'm in prison, you can still send me information in regard to what the profession of my field, which was law or stockbroking or marketing. Well, it'll make it so that people in these forums, people in these chat networks, people that are doing the research design and following us, even as number twos, can get on there and start to read and research and join all the forums. And people that are curious about it from the internet can start to realize what it is time on the inside. So that the people on the inside can start using their expertise and broadening it out and bridging the gap between doing just hard time with nothing to do, with no one to talk to, or no one to chat or communicate on the outside. These people will be allotted the opportunity, or the people on the front line, people in the military, people somewhere in the community in the middle of nowhere that want to express some kind of interest or something to that effect as to this webpage. They can do an uplink and juxtapose this means by 3. They can do an A to Z, then they can go to the platform, and then they can network out, and then they can write the letter. And then as the letter comes in, it could be a 1, 2, 3, and then a 3, 2, 1, and then a 3, 2, 1. So the letter comes, they check out the website's designed, you chat with me, you help me out, you help me build up the website, or somebody beats me to it, and we have multiple people. What I want to do is have multiple people networking on multiple platforms. So if you open up a GoDaddy website, you know nothing about web page design, you beat me to this, you take and start running with it, you start building this up, you already know people in the community, people in churches, people in nonprofits, people on the inside, people on the outside, you know government funding. Well, you're number 2, but you're already pretty much out of 16. All you got to do is open up a website, you got to get somebody to network. Let's say you're a networker, you already got that. You build it up, and you go 32, and you're pretty much platforming and you're gridding it back and forth with the Queen, you get your sponsorships, you get all your community together, you get the funding, you get everything color-coded like I put it across, and I'm just barely coming up. Well, I make it so that you can see as I'm coming up everything that I'm doing. Everything that I'm gridding in, everything that I'm building up to where you've already networked ahead of me. I'm going to make it so that when I come up to you, other people can follow me up, and other people can be at the 16, can be at the ground zero, can be at the table, can be at the table, the little kids table, the big kids table, the swimming pool, the fishing hole, whatever you want to call it. They can pretty much be gridded into the square, into the triangle, into the 6 sides, into the points, so that they can see how it builds to helping people on both sides. Helping people on the front line, helping people in third world, helping people in other countries, so that the chat forums, the research, the designs, the mailings, and the orders, and the funding can go through. One of the benefits I want to do in regard to chat forums is I want to make it so that it's like a super Google chat, where when you network in and you grid in, you chat something like, let's say you're a doctor, you're a doctor serving time, an A to Z, you're a D, doctor, professional, something or other, and you're an 80 or 90, a doctor as well. And you know everything there is to know about some kind of disease or something like that. When I go to search on Google, it's going to be a different form of Google, because it's going to do a super formatted version of Google, and it's going to research through everything that we have posted, everything that we have built together, everything that we've gridded in. It'll search through it and it'll piece it apart, and it'll break it down into a 3-part forum internet that's juxtaposed, that relates 3 parts, so that everything's broke down into what we're researching: a private chat, a public chat, a forum, a private forum, a group forum, a personal forum, and then it's going to break down from there, and it's going to pretty much be like a waterfall, where it's going to level down, level down, level down. And each level is going to go into the next, and then into the next, where you'll be able to do private forums and public forums on, let's say, a disease, where you can network in and pretty much have people who are level 1s or people who are level 100s all gridded in to the same network and say, well, you're an expert, you're not an expert, and they all pretty much merge on an open forum, which is the internet, but it's also the mail list and the mail room, so that you can do via snail mail or via the website, and make it so that the community as a whole is pretty much fluctuating, pretty much breathing, pretty much growing as a whole, as a community, and people are contributing, whether they're listening to this video or whether they've already built something similar. Please let me know. Again, it's drewbailey996@gmail.com or Drew Bailey at Facebook. The Facebook page is going to look like this. It's going to have a circle, a triangle, and a square. And then there's going to be a square sided. People that are curious as to the forum and the sponsorship, there's going to be something that Peter keeps going to sleep. There's going to be something like this. The people that encompass everything is going to be the mail room or the mailing list and the website. The sponsors are going to be Kings, which is 33. They're going to have a little bit more say. They're going to have a little bit more go, a little bit more leeway, because obviously they're going to either be 1 step ahead of me and they're going to say, well, look at this website. Here's what you could design off of. Or they're going to be the people that are going to mandate, we want to go this way with your idea. Here's what we're dictating. We're the sponsors. We're putting forward the effort. Here's what we're willing to do. That's just another 16. It's a multiple level route, so that as I build it on Facebook, you can follow step by step. And as I build it in other forums, I don't really do Twitter. I don't really do other networks, but I want to make it so that a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, you can go back to today for me posting this, and you can follow back and you can build your own from ground zero all the way up, and I can show you every single step as it progressively builds, so that the community as a whole, it can network and broaden in through the community, which the community is 16. Churches are 8 and 16, which are bishops and churches. Non-for-profits are 8 and 16, which are bishops and churches. By bishop, I mean people that have a congregation, people that have the ability to communicate, people that are in tune with people on the inside, people that are in tune with people on the outside, people that know the task of what it takes to serve time, whether it be for the religion, or whether it be for God, or whether it be for men, people that are attuned to the higher forces and the higher powers that need to work within the community, work within sponsorship, work within non-for-profits. People that know that churches are non-for-profits for a reason, and the people who are volunteers. Volunteers being everybody from 2 to 33. The very bottom, which is 2, but is actually, as the mood goes in chess, even a pawn can kill a king. If you study something called ziggurat, and you see how it platforms and it flips totally upside down, and you see this is kind of set up on a pyramid. If you think a pyramid scheme, think 2 pyramids, and just align 1 pyramid, draw 2 pyramids on a piece of paper. It looks like the Star of David. And imagine if something at the top goes wrong or something at the bottom goes wrong from a corporation standpoint, whether it be Enron or whether it be another big short or another collapse, how it happens, it kind of comes out of the shadows and out of the blue, and it's pretty much known at the bottom, but it starts at the top. But it can also be vice versa, where the bottom can contribute to the fall of the top. What I want to do is make it so that it's circular, so there's a constant momentum, a constant moving. So the queen, the 232s that are above the network, above the mail list, above the website, are grading back and forth and showing you, and I'm showing you from the queen standpoint, how to make it so that you can see that I'm just putting forth mandates. This is pretty much just the mandate, just like Monk did back in putting the thumbtack in the door to do a proclamation for a new religion, which the 500-year anniversary was a couple months back or a year or so ago, but I believe it was this year. Anyway, this is pretty much just a mandate to set something forward so that we can pretty much rebuild, or as you communicate with me via email, you can say you need to do this, you need to do that, and I can post it via Facebook. And since I got a little bit of time in between working and everything else, I want to make it so that as I post it to Facebook, if you don't want to be known, say that in your email. When you email me that you're kind of a silent sponsor or kind of just curious as to how I'm building this, or you already have a form and a design and you're a person on the outside trying to communicate and network with somebody on the inside, and you want to know something more about how the community works, how people actually help people who are either in prison or people who are on the front line, people via Red Cross or people just volunteering. How do you go about doing that? You can send that email to me, or you can send that via Facebook. I'll be networking and obviously meeting people in all aspects of life, whether you be a beginner, whether you be an expert, whether you be fresh out of jail or fresh in jail, or whether you be fresh on the front line or never have any desire to ever see the front line. This will pretty much cover all tiers. And in regard to me just mentioning the queen is going to network from ground zero to the top. In the queen role that I'll be playing somewhat in this, pretty much what I want to make it sure that I'm doing is making so that everything is open. So as we build, as we do GoDaddy, or as we do whatever we do to network, to chat, everybody's online, everybody's on task. That's kind of my queen role, because I'm just pretty much saying, hey, we're chatting about it, we're talking about it, the ideas moving forward, the videos that are building off this video, the people that are platforming off this platform, and the people that are designing off this platform. They know the 96, they know the time, they know the 48, they know the Valtteri, they know that everything is on a time crunch, or everything is on somebody else's paycheck, or sponsorship, or community, or who's in, who's out, or government funding, or whatever it is, and they're in the crunch. They're mixing everything up. What I see with the color coding is almost like medical records. If you've never been into a hospital, everything is color coded, everything's alphabetized. We could do something similar to Dewey Decimal System. Pretty much I want to keep it simple. I want to make it so that when you go to the website, it's an A to Z. You pretty much say, I'm looking for a lawyer, I'm looking for a soldier, I'm looking for something interesting in comedy, or something interesting in L90 or a disease or something to that effect, and you type it in to the website, and that gives you A to Z just like some of the other websites I mentioned, Angie's List, Craigslist, Wikipedia, A to Z websites where you just click on an A or a Z alphabetical and it drops down, and then you do 1 to 100. Well, if you're an expert and you're, let's say, a lawyer 90 or a doctor 90 or something like that, you don't want to have a lot of time dealing with twos, pawns, people that are picking your brain and saying, well, take time, this, that. That's where it starts to get into a public forum and a private forum where you can separate out professionals in the field, whether they be in prison or whether they be in public, so that people can do multiple grids and pretty much align it so there's multiple platforms. I'm going to, probably within the next 3 to 6 months, be putting together a GoDaddy website. It's going to have something called 8 tables. 8 tables is going to use artificial intelligence. It's going to be a multiple global networking system that's going to make it so that people in first world countries or third world countries can use advanced technology such as computers, laptops, like I'm doing with you, so that you can communicate and you can learn, and whether there's a time difference or not, use artificial intelligence and the computer and the network and the system so that you can teach on multiple levels over multiple forums and not have anything be a variance. And you can have people that follow people as they progress in the educational system or in society on multiple levels. This design, this idea is XE number 1. I came up with 9 XEs. Originally I was going to come up with 100 XEs. I'm only going to do 9 XEs because I want to make it so that I can platform and I can actually keep up with everything that I'm trying to put out there. In 8 platforms or 8 tiers or 8 tables is what I'm calling it. The idea to conceptually make artificial intelligence more ingrained incorporation into our social norm, so that people in third world countries or first world countries, inner cities or outer cities, can pretty much grid in and unlock technology or become more interactively, socially designed with the modern technology, whether you're in prison or whether you're on the outside, whether you're on the front line or whether you're in the impoverished homeless line. You could pretty much make it so that people can start to recognize as technology shifts and transitions, and as we're at the mecca of a new social norm, a new society that's going to either be on one tier or the next tier, it's going to allow people to come back to my Facebook, to my Gmail, to a public forum, to a chat, and say, well, he started out here, I'm a beginner as well, here's what he started out as a 2, here's what he built up to, and here's how he did it. That's why I'm splitting it from not just one XE, like I'm saying this is XE1. And by XE, I mean ConX, CopX, XCop, CopY, CopZ, whatever you want to call it, is somebody who's either on the inside or somebody who's on the outside, who's an expert or not an expert, or somebody who's curious about becoming an expert or knowing or getting the knowledge to become an expert in whatever field you want to encompass. As I wrap up, I just like to say it's a broader scope. I'm putting everything out as pretty much a narrow margin so I can get this on Facebook. I have a few other videos that I've already chatted about that I'm waiting until I get the go ahead to get my GoDaddy put together. And then once I get my GoDaddy together, I'm going to build off this on YouTube, and then I'm going to just keep snowballing and pretty much get a chain reaction going, I hope. My email is Drew Bailey, again, 9996, all lowercase, at gmail.com. My Facebook is Drew Bailey, all lowercase, at facebook.com. Here's the design I'm going to put on Facebook. As I start to chat, as I start to meet you, I'm sure I'll meet all sides. I'm very interested and curious as to where this goes. Like I've already explained, I have some college, I have more expert in the field, or more, not necessarily expert, but I'd say above novice or beginner in the field. If you want to think Star Wars, I'm not so much a Jedi, I'm kind of still an apprentice, but I have some information in regard to science, in regard to advanced technology, in regard to information in one avenue of the field. I did NDT for a little while, and I'm not trying to make this about me, but it makes it so that you can understand that I'm not trying to base it on education or any level. I'm trying to get wiser people than me involved so that they can pick it up and run with it. And they can also show me, as they pick it up and run with it, how we did it and how other people can join to do it with us so that we can get multiple pyramids going. When we get pyramids going, I don't want to have it where it's a pyramid scheme, where somebody's making money off it. I want it primarily to be a non-for-profit. I want it to be where people on the inside are able to access information and get information out so that they can learn, so that we can progressively expand, so that prison isn't just solely about hard time or being 100% alone or being, out there on the front line, totally lost and wondering why you volunteered, who you're volunteering for. I want to make it so that the places or the things that I haven't described, as you see this network, as you see it growing, as you see what I can potentially become or what it can potentially allot to, you can help build it so that the chat forums, so that the research, so the design, so the mailing orders all make sense to, let's say, a 5th grader. I want to make it so that, just like that TV series, Are You Smarter Than 5th Grade? I want to make it so that somebody in the 5th grade can come and say, okay, he started here on Facebook, you go to my Facebook page, he platformed here as a 2, he went into a 4, he put it all together as cost, foundation, everything like that. And as we get into cost, I'm pretty open-minded as to how we get sponsorship, how we get funding, whether it be community events, whether it be volunteers, whether it be for each person on the inside, it's free to them. And then somehow we make it so that people on the outside that join the mailing list, they pay $4.99 or $3, whether it's inside or outside of prison, inside or outside of the military, inside or outside of NASA, inside or outside of a think tank. Pretty much make it so that people can see that experts, people that are experts not just in the field, but people who are experts in sharing knowledge and wisdom, like Alexander, the Library of Alexandria, where we're gathering information and we're collectively moving. This isn't the first Mecca, this isn't the first avenue that this has been done. If you go back on history, if you hate pre-algebra, which I do, pre-algebra was actually designed by Arabs, and it was pretty much broken by the Crusades, by the Freemasons, by whatever you want to call it. They came down, they broke up. When they were gathering all the information, they disbanded, they buried scrolls. There's still a lot of archaeological digs that haven't found everything that's been buried as a result of that. If you go back on another form of history, the Library of Alexandria, Alexander the Great, he was gathering information as a Mecca. He was putting everything together as a platform and an open forum, which I'm trying to do. And he was making it so that people can collectively, whether your nationality, your heritage, your range, your hate, your anger, your peace of mind, or your view toward this overall project, you can pretty much get the information you need where you contribute to the cause and say that it spans more than just past century, past decade. It's going to be something that is pretty much an evolution of the revolution. As we go forward, it's going to involve people who are on all sides of society, people on all specs of society, and it's going to involve people on ins and outs. So I appreciate your time. I'm going to go ahead and post this to YouTube with great reluctance. It's been a long time building to even get this far. I hope that you can help me out. I appreciate the university that I'm at right now for them allowing me to actually use their whiteboard, and I look forward to working with you in the future. I hope that I put it forward in the form of Smarter Than a 5th Grader so that people with basic knowledge can take some notes, can communicate back and forth with me, and can start building their own networks, their own grids, and actually start getting a color-coded mailing list and experts or novices or people involved in this so that we can get a broader range of funding, a broader range of know-how. In regard to anything sponsorship, anything funded, if you're already ahead of me, if you got a better idea, if you've already watched this video and you've changed it and you're building something as we speak, or you've already built something that didn't work but now you're going to build it again and it's going to be even better because you watched some portion of this video and it pretty much snowballed. Anytime that it comes to money, anything within the money, I want to have at least 3 LPNs, licensed practicing accountants, that confirm all money, and all money in all open forms are done so that all money, it's not a sorry sappy commercial about donate and then 99 cents or 87 cents or 60 cents of it goes to somebody's pocketbook and then only 30 or 40 cents actually goes to the cause. I want to make it so that we're getting at least 80% of anything that's being produced, anything that's being made, anything that's being networked, anything that's being gridded to the actual cause. 20% is coming back, and if we get 100% sponsorship, you still got to pay the piper, you still got to pay the church, you still got to get the community, you still got to print t-shirts, you still got to get people to run the runs, you still got to get people to do the volunteer work, to go on the inside, get the stamps, to the inmates that are going to know information on us. You still got to get the government funding, you still got to get the people to be willing to pay the piper, as they say. So it's a novel idea. It's a start. It's ground zero. Today's date is somewhere in August 2018. I had a long day at work, so I'm looking forward to working with you later. I'll say it one more time. I know I'm a broken record on this, but it's Drew Bailey at Facebook.com and Drew Bailey 9996 at gmail.com. Appreciate your time. Look forward to working with you. Thank you. Bye.